So I was thinking, why aren't there any really famous mainstream gay male comedians? Are gay men not funny? So the history of gay men in comedy is relatively short and recent, and it might be because of something like this.
You know, when you say partner, it doesn't sound cop, but it sounds gay.
Faggot didn't mean gay. When I was a kid, you call somebody faggot because they're being a faggot, you know? Someone's just being a faggot. Nah, shut up, faggot. And I'm supposed to use those for that. Shut up, faggot.
Really deserve half of this. So, do you want the bottom or the top?
I have this nightmare that I go to Hollywood and find out that Mr. T is a faggot. Really, and he be walking up to people going, "Hey boy, you look mighty cute in them jeans."
I remember watching that last clip and feeling like really intense, like embarrassing shame as like a closeted kid. But now that I watch it, I'm like just confused because it's not that funny. Like he literally is just saying that Mr. T is gay and people are like losing it in the audience. It seems pretty easy. So when we think of the history of gay men in comedy, the first ever reoccurring gay character existed in 1972. Gay was said for the first time in 1973 on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Shout out Mary Tyler Moore, because prior to that on shows like All in the Family, gay people were referred to as fags. There was also Billy Crystal on the show Soap, who was sort of one of the most famous gay men in TV at the time. But take note that he is played by a straight person, because that's a consistent theme that happens until even right now. In the 70s and 80s, gay men were a joke. Essentially, they were very easy laughs, as you saw in Eddie Murphy's Delirious clip. There was something funny and weird about gay men. There was also the AIDS crisis happening and they were being alienated. And so for whatever reason, it created a lot of homophobic jokes that made gay men perceived as these funny, flaming, sort of limp wrist people. So what happened is that at the time, gay male activists took it upon themselves in a very, legitimate way to make themselves be taken seriously. And so there was actually a very big slogan at the time that was, "Gay men are not funny. Gay men are real people and there are millions of them around the world." So that's really interesting when you think about comedy, because at the time, gay men were being perceived as, gay. Gay literally means carefree, showy, bright. So gay men were fighting to be taken seriously, and therefore it makes a lot of sense that there weren't that many successful gay comedians at the time trying to be funny. But it actually continues even to this day. When I was reading about gay comedians and gay black comedians, a lot of them talked about a similar thread, which was that they go to comedy clubs and they're told, or they go to auditions and they're told that their comedy is going to alienate the audience or make the audience uncomfortable. But if you think about what comedy is, that's what's been happening for years. It's been powerful, straight men in many cases who are making jokes about all these other people and alienating them. Like that's essentially like what you do, is you kind of tread the line between, what's okay, what's not okay. You obviously push boundaries when you're doing comedy, and so it seems really weird, and there must be some other reason why they're telling specific comedians that their comedy is gonna alienate people. Let's take an example of a recent successful movie that is funny, and it's called Sausage Party. This movie is written and directed by a bunch of straight white dudes. They're all, in their 30s. There's about 6 of them. I did a bunch of research on them, and they made a funny movie. It was a really genius concept of food, being really happy in the grocery store and thinking that when they leave the grocery store, they go to the great beyond, this beautiful place, but really they just get chopped up and hacked to death, and the gruesome scenes were hilarious. But it was actually a giant social commentary, and it was a social commentary coming from the perspective of 6 white men. And this was a very successful movie, and it does have impacts. For sure there were kids watching it, it was animated, who were getting their rated R movie and being like, "Oh my god, they're swearing," and it was impacting lives. And so there's a specific moment, the only moment where there's a gay character, and they're the fruits, which is I get it, I get what they were thinking, it's funny. But all they do is literally one does a limp wrist, and that's the joke, and then the other one, they just break out into a musical song. There is no doubt in my mind that if there was a gay man on that writing staff, on the main writing staff, or a gay man directing that movie, that they wouldn't look at that and they wouldn't think there's more jokes to be had here that are more nuanced and interesting from the perspective of a gay person. By definition, if you have more diverse comedians thinking of their own communities and interpreting them with their nuanced perspective on comedy, then you'll have even more people in the theater relating and laughing. The more diverse minds you have creating any content, literally the better it's gonna be. And the concept of having diverse writing teams works. When you think of Monty Python, something that, you know, a lot of people think is funny, they did have one gay writer. It was a long time ago and there was a lot of stereotypical jokes made in them, but they also normalized sexuality in a weird way with like cops and sheriffs all sleeping in beds and they don't ever have to feel the need to explain why. And with everything else, you need to see yourself represented in things in order to want to partake in them. Actually, there was a specific study where they found out that there was a really large increase in female enrollment of forensic scientists after CSI came out, because young girls saw this kick-ass girl being a forensic scientist, super interesting job, and then they started to think, okay, that's something I could do. And when it comes to gay men in comedy, it's something that I want to see more of because comedy is fascinating. It's actually about being self-deprecating. It's about being flawed. We're not always perfect. Like, I mean, I did my hair, but like, I'm messy, I'm gross. I like do the weirdest shit all the time. If there was more gay comedy, we could allow more people to see that we're just as messed up as everyone else. I'm a gay man who never saw famous gay comedians, and that's part of the reason why I think I never thought I could like be a comedian or be funny. Gay men are funny. Maybe they aren't necessarily as famous yet or as mainstream, but as comedy evolves and as more diverse perspectives get involved, we're gonna see different types of people flourish. And you know what? Comedy needs new ideas. So there's gonna be a lot more new ideas. There's gonna be new movies. There's gonna be the 40-year-old version remake with a gay person who's stuck in their basement and they don't have any Wi-Fi so they can't get on Grindr. So this is sort of a new form that we're doing ASAP Thought in, and that we're just, you know, talking about what we're thinking about. So let us know in the comments if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you soon for a new video.